So today we're going to be talking about mindfulness when it comes to spending money. As you know, I talk about financial coaching and mortgage advice, which is why I'm the mortgage coach. And today I wanted to talk about your relationship with money, how to be mindful with money, things like that, because I think it is really important foundation. So it's all very well understanding how mortgages work, understanding how to manage your finance, understanding how to improve your credit. Those are the things I normally talk about. But today, I wanted to talk about money mindset and mindfulness and things like that. So I hope you'll enjoy something a little bit different. By the end of this, you will have a step-by-step guide on how to be more mindful with your spending and things like that. So let's get started. Now, what is mindfulness spending? So, mindfulness spending is being conscious and deliberate about how you use your money. It involves paying attention to what you're spending, your spending habits, understanding what motivates you behind your behavior, ensuring that your spending aligns with your financial goals and your personal values. I mean, let's think about that for a while. Basically, not everybody knows where their money goes. And I know that sounds a little bit, if you're one of these people that is able to track their money and knows exactly where it goes continuously, then you're going to think this is a little bit weird. But if you're one of those people that get to the end of the month, or not even the end of the month, halfway through the month, and pretty much all the money is gone, then this is a video for you. Now, I've always been one of those people, and I remember my dad always used to say to me, make sure you put some money aside. But the thing with me is, if I haven't sort of explained how my life is, but basically what happened to me is as soon as I graduated from uni, because I'd done a whole year of accountancy. I got accountancy jobs straight out of university. So I went from working in retail, doing beep beep at the checkout, to being a trainee accountant because I got exemptions from my degree. I was already part qualified, so my salary in essence probably doubled, nearly tripled overnight. So I was like, every time my dad said, make sure you put some money aside, make sure you this, I literally bought my first property 3 months out of university. And the reason I was able to do that was money mindset. In my head, I was literally saying to myself, just pretend you're still on your supermarket salary. Just pretend. And for those 3 months I was able to, but then I moved into my property. I've never been the best cook, let's be honest, so I used to get a lot of takeaway, and my dad always used to say to me, make sure you've got enough money to cover your bills for at least 3 months. But in my head I was like, do you know what, I've already got a property, so I was well ahead of my peers. I always had enough money. I'm always make sure all my direct debits came out at the beginning of the month. So as long as my salary covered my direct debits, and then whatever I was left over, that's what I was. But to be honest, I never saved. I never put any money aside. And then when I hit 27 and I realised how much my property had gone up in value, I borrowed again, and I was able to actually buy another property. But all this time, everybody thought that I was the best saver in the whole wide world. You've saved up a deposit for a next property. But to be honest with you, I hadn't. What I literally did was I just did the maths. I realised that my property had doubled in price. In order to rent out a property, you only need to have 75% equity in it, 25% deposit, 70%, 75% loan. So the fact that it had doubled in price meant that I had more than enough money to remortgage the first place and move into the next place without actually having any savings. So I still didn't have to sit there, track my finance. And as I said, as I passed exams and became a qualified accountant, my salary kept on going up and up and up. So I never actually sat down and said, track my finances. And it was only when, I got married and then we had kids and I had to kind of find more money than I would have. And also, I didn't want to work all the hours that God sends. I wanted to actually spend time with the kids. And plus, I retrained and became a mortgage advisor. And as a mortgage advisor, especially when you're self-employed, your salary goes up and down and up and down and up and down. So it was never consistent. So this is the time when I really, really had to start being good with money. I had to be more mindful. I couldn't, if I had a bad day, just go get a takeaway, or if the kids wanted something. And I used to have a lot of mummy guilt. So basically, when I did work long hours, if I wasn't around for the kids, I'd bring them back something. So I'd feel better about it. Do you know what I mean? And they would just get used to me bringing them treats and that kind of stuff. And then when I started having to go into the office, say 1 day a week, that day I would always come home with something, be it some kind of treat for them. So I got used to that. So my values were always, I don't know, I kind of think that it was a case of I always knew there was money there. I'd really worked hard at university, I've got a lot of qualifications, I always earned good money. So I always thought to myself everything would be fine. I never actually sat there with a budget and said, this is what I'm going to spend, this is what I'm not going to spend, because I give so many people financial advice, and the financial advice I wasn't actually taking myself. I knew what you should do, but as far as I was concerned, in my eyes, as long as I can cover my bills, I'm good to go. But the thing is, in hindsight, and I realise now, I could have done so much more with my money if I hadn't have been like that. If I had sat there and tracked my finances and looked at what I had. I mean, the amount of money I literally wasted, it's ridiculous. So I suppose my point to you is, if I had to give sort of 3 tips when it comes to managing your money properly, I would say, firstly, yes, it is so important to be able to cover those direct debits, but that's not all the money that you spend every month. You spend money on going out, you spend money on petrol, you spend money on food. Not everything is a direct debit. So at the end of the day, you should split your money up into, I'd say, 3. A third to go on, the essentials, your committed expenses, the direct debits, as I call it. And that can be your mortgage or your rent, that can be your utilities and everything else. Then the next chunk should literally be on the things that you need from day to day, but it isn't a committed expense. So for example, things like your petrol, things like groceries and things like that. So you do need it month in, month out, but it's not a direct debit. It's not automatically going to come out of the account. You have to have the money aside. So as and when you need to buy groceries, you need to buy petrol, you've got it. And then the last amount, I would say, which is so important, especially as I'm getting to a certain age and I don't want to work forever, you need to have money that you'll either put into savings or put into investment. Money, I call it grow money, money that you will have the potential to grow with. And I think if you split it up, it doesn't have to be exactly 33%, 33%, 33%, but you have to have 3 pots, I would say, and make sure that you have that. And your investment money you can look out for growing, but you can also have part of it for emergencies. So if something comes up, like for instance, you've got your boiler goes, or one of your white goods goes, like your fridge or anything like that, then you've got money to sort of spend. If something goes wrong with your car, for example, you've got money that you can pay for it. So I hope this has been really, really helpful for you. It's just a bit of insight. Get to know me a little bit more. If you like this video, by all means, subscribe, share, it'd be great. And yeah, I will give you more tips in the future. If you like this type of video, please put in the comments that you enjoyed it. If you prefer more informational, like I normally do, by all means put that in. If there's any subject under mortgages and money matters that you're thinking to yourself, do you know what, I'd like to learn more about that, then I can also do that. So take care, and I'll see you all soon.